Hello and welcome back to Climbing Daily. Hope you had an incredible Christmas. Today looks like a news show, but we're going to do something a little bit different, aren't we?
We're going to sit back and chit-chat.
We are going to sit back and chit-chat. Because throughout the year, we get to do some pretty cool shoots on Climbing Daily.
I gotta say, this year especially, yes, was particularly sweet.
There we go. There were some good videos. So on today's show, we're going to talk about some of our favorite videos from the year. We're going to show you a little bit of a clip, and then we're going to talk about some behind the scenes stuff that went on, some of our thoughts and feelings that we didn't maybe put into the film. So that's the general plan for today. I'm going to kick off right at the beginning of the year, because kind of this time last year, we were in freezing cold Switzerland.
Yes.
Because we had started off our 48 Hours with series. And we had two. We had Dave Graham and Melissa Leneve. And you went off with Melissa, with Hugo. I went off with Dave, with Johan. And the whole point of this was to spend 48 hours in the presence of a professional.
Of a legend.
A legend, exactly. See how they train, see how they do boulders, what their life's like, a little bit of an insight into it. That was the whole plan of this. So we're in different places in the same country filming this stuff. Mine was Dave Graham. Oh, it was an experience. So let's roll a bit of a longer clip so you can check it out.
So I don't know if it makes me crazy, but at the same time, I don't know, I feel the same as I ever have. Like, I'm still in love with the process, and I still have the same passion, if not more, to develop and explore and try and do stuff I can. It's like a really poorly formed crystal. You can see that's like kind of terminated here. So it means that like this vein of quartz was like trying to crystallize.
I'm wrapped up warm because winter is coming, and we're heading down to what is one of the most famous fields in bouldering, and there's a couple of climbs there I can't wait to see. Now, Dave Graham has such a history in this valley, so he's the perfect person to show us around. Dave, how you doing?
What's up, Matt?
Oh man, so good to see you.
Welcome.
Good, thank you for having us here.
Oh, no problem.
Mate, this is a field, this is an area that I've heard so much about, it's so famous, and I've never seen it.
Yeah, the first boulders you see when you arrive to San Lerto are these, and it's like, for sure, the most famous sector. It's incredible.
Well, Dave, I mean, straight away, there's a wagon.
Yeah.
This is off the wagon.
This is off the wagon. This is probably like the most spectacular line I ever brushed, maybe, in Switzerland. I first arrived here, and this was just sitting like it is right now,
so
with
you
chalk.
Found this?
Yeah. I mean, well, I didn't have to do much. I drove up with my car, and I parked right there, and I looked, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. I wonder if there's any holds on it. And there wasn't a wagon at the time. I came and I brushed the line from the sit, and it was just like, wow. And then the wagon arrived a couple seasons later, and we started trying it from here with Chris. More intensely.
From the stand?
From the stand, yeah. That was kind of what we first decided to start trying, because it's already hard from the stand, put it that way. So we started to check out this section where you jump up to this cramp and do this campus move through. And then years later, probably like what, 15 years later, Sean Rabbit did the sit start off of the wagon, which is considered the wagon low. So
filming with Dave, was it the first time, or you already interviewed him like sometimes before?
Good question. I'd met him at the Sisu Masters Games, which was right back when I started, so like 7 years ago,
okay,
long time ago. And then I'd sort of seen him around, but this was the first time I got to really spend time with Dave.
So fair to say a dream come true?
Yeah, he's a legend. Like, I was a bit starstruck, but I said it in the video, I'm a bit starstruck by him. And I was. I don't get starstruck as much anymore, but don't tell him. With him, I get a little bit nervous. And the funniest thing I always find with this stuff is I think people think that we turn up to these events and we're all just like super pro or super pally, but like half of it is building a relationship with someone really
But like
quickly.
immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
Immediately.
You turn up and it's like, right, this has got to click.
Yeah.
And Dave's brain probably works a bit like my brain does, which is it's just everywhere. There are things and places and stuff that goes off, and he's a bit like that. So trying to like let him be him, but also with that mindset of we need to make a film here, and there are certain bits that need to work for
You need
this
certain
to work.
sound bites as well.
Sometimes
I guess.
you're thinking about the edit, you know, and you're like, oh my gosh, Dave hasn't stopped talking for 5 minutes. I don't
Which
know where
is great though.
Which is amazing.
Like it really worked.
I was incredible. I did the edit on that one. And you know that sequence where he found this next level boulder?
Yeah.
That's like 15 minutes long of him
Right.
telling me about the boulder. And I was like, I don't know how to do this. I'm just going to cut it to classical music and see what happens.
My thoughts to start down here on the arete and the spike thing. Sloper, undercling, come into the arete here. Long move out left to side pull, toe hook. You have this kind of intermediate, amazing hold into this crimp pinch thing. Tack, undercling, rock up on in here. From the undercling and the thing, get the foot over there. 1, 2, to a decent hold. Kind of starts to be more compression. Maybe move to a decent hold here. A lot going on, but basically the idea is just.
But that was fascinating. And I want to talk a bit about pressure, okay? And not for the climbers, for you and me. Because
On that shoot.
do you ever feel it? Because like I had to try to climb a 7C with him, right? And it's
Yeah.
like you're cold, you've been doing other things, then you suddenly have to perform and you got to get it really done because it's not a film about you. But do you feel pressure when you're with the pros climbing?
The climbing is like, you know, it's a thing that we do for fun, but we also have to do on camera.
Mm-hmm.
But then the pros, you know, like it's also for them. It's kind of the same thing because, like, you know, they do it on their own time, and most of the time they're not even being filmed, and they're just trying, and over and over again all these boulders. But for you, I think like you kind of know what to say. Like you do know what to say most of the time.
How do you mean? What to
As
the
in,
pros?
like you're fluid with like links and things like that.
Right.
So can you like concentrate more on the climbing when you're like, when you know you gotta go, when you put on your
I see what you
shoes
mean,
and you
yeah.
go like, okay, it's climbing time. Like, do you have that snap?
A little bit. The problem is I get too into it because like that 7C, I was so close. And if I'd spent maybe another hour there or had a bit of a break, I might have done it.
But then, you know, you can go back and do it in your own time.
Yeah, but that ain't gonna happen, is it? Not during a 2-day shoot. Like, you know, it's
No,
one of those
yeah,
things.
yeah.
It's like you're there, and if you do it, it could be really cool for the film.
Yeah.
But also you don't want to hold the process up. So it's a weird one for me. But yeah, that was the beginning of that series, and we've got more that coming out, especially the Japan stuff that you've just done recently.
48 hours with 2 incredible Japanese climbers. Yeah, so it's a series that's gonna continue into the new year. There's already like talks and plans with other brands to do more things like that. And yeah, no, it was like cool start of the year, cool series to start. Also for us, because you know it gives us an excuse to hang out with some, you know, pretty cool climbers.
People. Yeah, exactly. All right, so that's my first video pick that kind of, it's not like the most popular or the best, but it's something that meant something to me, you know, that shoot.
No, it was also a really good video.
Yeah, it was fun. And yours too. Yours too. Very good. We just pick each other up.
Good job.
Yeah, good job. Yeah. What's your first video choice?
I got blusher on, so I'm not actually
Oh
blushing.
gosh, I know what it is.
It has to be. It
go
has
on,
to
go
be.
on, go on, yeah.
So with no big surprise, because it's been also one of the most watched videos this year on Climbing Daily. You got to shoot an incredibly awkward interaction with Alex Megos.
So we're at the Petzl rock trip.
Yes, and it was, what was like day 2 into it?
Yeah.
And was it one of those days where we weren't really sure what we were gonna get?
Most days, yeah.
Yeah, because everybody's all over the place. We try to line up like certain interviews, and like especially at Petzl, it's always a good occasion to show how certain like gear things work, to film gear shows. So we're like literally in a million places at the same time, trying to get all this stuff. And we just stumbled upon a crag where Alex was there giving a clinic as well. So
Right, let's play the clip
fine.
and then we'll talk about what it was. Roll that clip. What's up, T?
apparently I have to go to speak to Alex Megos.
Yes, you do, yeah. How are you feeling?
Like, we've seen each other, we even spoke, but I never really introduced myself, so now I think it's awkward to be like, hey, let's go.
Ask him for a belay.
Want to climb this route over here?
Yeah, dibs.
You?
Well, what is it?
7B.
Oh. Hi, I'm Terry.
Nice to meet you, Alex.
Nice to meet you.
Well done, T.
There we go. Amazing.
T, are you going to do the 7B or something else?
Am I? Do you want to do it? You want to do it.
I could do it. You can pick that Chelsea 60 Plus over here. if you
I'll
want
take
to.
it. I'll take it. Are you patient, Alex?
Very patient.
Very
I'll give you
patient.
5 minutes and...
I know I'm an extremely slow climber,
Oh. What did I get myself into here?
but like extremely slow. Like I have records for how long I stay on routes.
Oh my god. You will be down before it's dark though, will you?
I can't guarantee it.
She messaged me being like, Alex is here.
Matt, can we not? Have you reconnected to your Greek roots?
I have. I was practicing all week long. It's good actually, yeah? It comes back the more you speak.
Do you want to belay me in Greek?
I can, but then you won't get anything, will you? Pame.
Bame.
Pame. Let's go.
It's like, oh, okay, let's go.
Aristera left. Dexia right.
A and D. Okay, yeah, A and D. Yeah, that's
That's
fine.
action direct, isn't it?
How many times have you climbed that route?
7.
7.
7 times.
Is
Yeah.
it like just a part of your training circuit?
No, I just usually go whenever there's somebody trying it or whenever there's a photographer or a filmer wanting to film it, then I usually repeat it. But every time it's been close. Like it was never solid.
So Action Direct's the first 9A in the world.
That is correct.
Are you sure?
I'm very sure.
What was the date that it got sent?
I think, was it 25th of September 91? What about Hubble?
Oh yeah, you climbed that as well.
Yeah, I did.
What
I think
didn't you climb?
I'm still the only one who climbed Hubble and Action Direct.
What about Bosie?
Will didn't climb Action Direct.
Oh.
He wasn't to the front gear ever. He never came until now.
Are you scared that he's gonna come and like send all the hardest things?
I would hope so, that he will come and send all the hardest things. Yeah, he's good. I like climbing with him. It's good fun.
We'll be there to film it.
Of course you will.
Okay, tying in. Okay, happy?
Yeah?
It's a pretty one.
Yeah, it is a pretty one. We'll let it count.
Thank you for doing this.
You're welcome.
How much time do you have on the card? I think this is gonna be an half an hour.
You get 10.
10 minutes.
10 minutes, it's only like...
I'm not German, I'm not efficient. In my defense, you
hope
made
it-
me do this.
No, this is what happened, right? So she's about to climb with him, right? We all know Terry's got a bit of a crush on Megos. Anyway.
No, but that's the thing. It's like such a bigged up thing on climbing.
Yes, I know, we did it on purpose.
Yeah, you
So-
did it on purpose.
but
But then
basically-
like it got so in my head. I was like, I'm climbing with him. Also, I did watch like Roadpunkt at least like 100 times, which like that
Yeah,
is
but
probably the problem.
all of that is fine. The climbing is irrelevant. The point is I had to film this 15-minute chat with you and him where Alex said, just roll the camera, right? And you were trying
because
to be...
we were actually chatting in a normal way.
That's
and then,
your normal way of chatting.
No, before you clicked record endlessly, we're actually talking normally,
Right.
like
So what
like
happened
two
when I pressed
climbers.
record?
When you press record, and I noticed I did it in Japan as well. I went like, I don't know, shoes. Yes, you climbed. Did you climb Action Direct? Cool.
Right.
I basically wasn't listening to a word he was saying.
Alex or the...
Or like Alex, and like not that's not true, but like and the thing you were talking about, I'm just getting jittery now. The thing you were talking about before, being like having to climb like with one of like a person you look up to and stuff like that. I want to stop talking, to be honest.
Well, that's Terry's favorite video of the year, and it was a lot of people's favorite videos of the year.
It was, yes, and it became such an icebreaker to people to come up to me and be like, I saw that Alex made this. Because like in a way, like I was so awkward, and
Very
it was
awkward.
so awkward.
Incredibly awkward, and we
Like,
took out some of it as well.
You
We left in
you had to,
Had to.
because it just seemed like I wasn't like a functioning human being.
Yeah, which is generally true.
Watch out. That was the microphone.
Right, so the next video...
I like that you want to cut this.
I know. Right,
and Matt had to film it all and listen to it all, which was even the worst
it was an
part.
experience.
And
trust
in my
me.
defense, the whole carrot thing and all like, the jokes they came out of it, I didn't even realize on the moment. Like, how could I? I'm really hungry. Do you have a carrot?
No, I don't.
So no carrot of the day.
No, I already ate the carrot of the day,
Okay.
which was a donation by one of the clients.
Carrots are his whole thing.
Yeah,
Like, I just had to ask if you had a carrot.
right.
I did it for, climbing fans out there.
You talking
Turns out
more
that
about
day-
this isn't making it any better. I just want to let you
I'm
know.
trying.
I'm letting you talk
digging
this
it.
through,
I'm digging
but,
it.
I
I have some notes. That's why the carrot thing was one of them.
Okay.
But like I had to ask if he had a carrot.
You had to.
And guys, like turns out he doesn't go around with carrots because that day he didn't have a carrot.
No, he doesn't. But rumor has it when he does, it's quite large because he's got to fuel himself up. You know what I mean? It's hard to be a pro climber. You need that fuel. Right, so my next video that was my highlight is Tom Bolger. Because we talk about relationships, right? There are some climbers in this world who are less up for being on film. You know, like, it's fair enough. Not everyone who's a good climber wants to have a camera stuck in their face.
Yeah.
Now, Tom lives in Margalef. And for a while, he'd been sort of underground crushing. And he was on our radar. We talked about him a lot on the news show.
Yeah.
And like gradually, I sort of built a bit of a relationship with him just by chatting to him.
We also bumped into him in
Exactly.
Margalef.
Yeah, we're in Margalef. So like, you know,
yeah.
knew him a bit, but I knew that being on camera was hard. But I wanted to get him on camera because he's so badass. So I had this one day between a ridiculous shoot, right, to go from Barcelona to Margalef, but literally crazy. It was pouring with rain. It wasn't in ideal conditions, but like, it was a chance for us to show someone who's super hardcore, one of the best in the world, but is still a bit underground. Roll the clip.
Margalef is definitely unique. It's got these amazing valleys lined with huge conglomerate walls. It's probably one of the biggest conglomerate climbing areas in the world, and it's absolutely packed with hard routes. It lends itself beautifully to developing new routes of all grades. You could be at one crag where there's from 4+ to 9B, you know, within 200 meters, and I don't think that that really exists in a lot of other places. So this is the journey, starting down there just by the small tree and fire straight up through this wall. We're thinking 9A+ to the first anchor, and then from there onwards, you know, it's been mentioned 9B+ or something like that. First section is like fairly good holds, but like really burly, and it's mega steep. It's basically a roof, this first section. You get these two holds here, make a sort of like high clip, and then you start just this section, then just keep going. So from here it's like a high foot across it. Flip the hand. So I worked on it loads last spring because I had a bit of time off from when I was working. I put a load of work into it there and got pretty close. I'll put the clip in just for working it, but when I give it a go from the ground, I like leave these out just because otherwise it's too tempting to clip. So for this move, this is like one of the ones where I just can't do it with the tape on. So for the proper go, I'll like whip the tape off and go for it. So you clip here. Oh yeah. Vale, yeah. The extension's bolted, but there's one move that hasn't been done yet.
It was brilliant because like Tom let me into his home, his life. I got to know the guy a bit. It was a tricky day shooting. At one point, I literally had camera in one hand, camera on a tripod, and a drone in the air, and I was trying to do
in the rain.
Well, that bit of the crag, thank goodness, was sheltered, but
Right.
it was full on. But it did impress me with Tom because his fingerboard workout he did before we went climbing was bonkers. Like mono pull-ups, all this kind of stuff. And I'm filming this just like, even if the crag bit doesn't work, this is social media gold. Because
It was
social media gold. Tom, you're king of the monos. How do you warm up for a mono?
So I start with like 3 fingers on an edge, say like this one, the middle one. And I'll do like a hang there a little bit. 2 might be like slightly bigger one. And we'll do like 2 fingers. And then we'll go for this sort of like the jug mono, if there's a thing.
Okay, let me just get there.
And we'll do the jug mono.
Oh, Tom.
Everybody's different. Like sometimes I see people like doing warm-ups and I think, Jesus, you know, if I did that I'd be destroyed. But then, you know, vice versa, it's kind of like what works for you.
Margalef's one of my favourite places. It was great to be with a guy who's just so good at what he does.
But
and he's bolting.
Yeah,
everything.
exactly. He's bolting, he's developing, like he's also, you know, bringing the sport forwards.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a special time and it was good to sort of do that with him. So thank you, Tom, for giving me your time. Appreciate it, man.
And great style of interview, if I must say.
Thanks. Thank you.
Because, you know, wasn't it meant to be like kind of an odd to the 733 questions, like you knocking on the door and walking in?
I kind of filmed it like that because I didn't know how else to do it. Because I was like, I've got to be in it somehow. So yeah, it was like me just kind of, behind the scenes-y stuff. Mm-hmm. That was the plan. Go on, what's your number 2?
Nice. My number 2 is my first factory tour. Because this summer, you and I went to the C.A.M.P factory in Premana in Italy, and it's this village, like literally like up a valley. Like their whole thing was like, you don't pass by Premana, you have to go to it, and we really went to it. So yes, we got shown around the C.A.M.P factory. We did this video that shows the history of an ice axe and also how it's made, of how the Corsa, this new ice axe, is made. So we just went around the whole factory, saw the process from A to Z, because there's so many steps. So yes, here's a clip of the C.A.M.P factory tour. We made it into the headquarters of C.A.M.P here in Premana, Italy, and I'm meeting with Marco, who's gonna show me around. Hello.
Hi, Teresa.
Hi.
Good morning. Welcome to Premana. Welcome to C.A.M.P.
Thank you so much for having me. So what's your role here at C.A.M.P?
I am the international sales manager for the outdoor division. And today I will show you around a little bit what we do in C.A.M.P.
So you guys make a lot of products, all from harnesses, helmets, ice axes. Can we see a design more in detail?
Here in Premana, we manufacture ice axes and crampons, and we can have a look what the guys are doing. So for example, here we are designing and working on the concept of a new ice tool, a new ice axe for mountaineering and ski mountaineering. We first design a 3D model, and we have the ability, thanks to our prototyping facility, to have a first physical idea of what the product, in this case an ice axe, will be. First with plastic prototyping, and then aluminum and steel with the right materials. So at the end we are able to prototype and then test all the products that we design here. So here, this is our prototyping laboratory for soft goods. For instance, harnesses, shoulder bags, crash pads, backpacks, everything which is made with nylon, polyamide, and those kind of fabrics.
How much is there back and forth between making new prototypes, adjusting them, and trying them out?
It depends very much from product to product, from the technology of the product and also how much innovative is the product. You often and always need to make tests on fields. And for instance, speaking about ice axes, so we need snow, we need ice, we need to be in the right environment. And in this case, it might take 2 years, 3 years.
Now, I want to big you up here for a second because factory tours are not easy. Like, I've done enough of them in my time. They're not easy to do.
They're not. The thing is that, and this, I don't want to say especially this one, but it is so big. And even when we got there, we didn't know how much there is. And fortunately, we were with Marco, who's like just an awesome marketing sales rep, or just incredible dude that like had it all scheduled out and knew perfectly, you know, what to do, what to show us, and like his preparation was immaculate. And because of that, it was easier. And also he showed me around and, you know, really explained everything in so much detail that helped us also finding the correct storyline and all of that. But yes, there is so much going on. But I gotta say, what I loved about being there in this whole village, that is kind of all a village, sort of like in and around camp, because there's so many people working for them. And it was just seeing like that it is a family-owned company, but also that comes across in how much they care, how much they care for their employees. And so it was really cool to talk to these people, you know, off camera, because and unfortunately I speak Italian, so you know I had that extra interaction. But yeah, no, it was an incredible place to go film. Really great video. And all the links of this video are down below. It's a good point to mention it, I guess.
Yeah, do go watch these as well. Something I liked about all those factory tours is, you know, we make content, and part of that is from the money we get to make from that is from the shop.
Yes.
And what's nice is like we do a lot of gear videos, and I feel like I talk about gear a lot, but when you actually see it being made, it gives, you're like, okay, it's an ice axe, but like, you've watched the person make that ice axe. You know how much effort they put into it. So like being able to talk about products and try to sell them to people and say why they're good, I always find more useful once I've seen it being made.
Yes, and sometimes little things get missed. Like there was this whole machine testing out like, I don't know, it was like a certain grain testing out the durability of a fabric. So like little pieces of what would be a harness, or I don't know, a crash pad, you know, they just get tested over and over again to see how durable they are. Like, how can you explain it on a gear show?
Yeah,
that just that type of fabric was chosen so it lasts like how many times more than that one, and it has to be stitched this way or else it would come undone. So yeah, it was all those little extra details and feedbacks you get from the people there.
Yeah.
That was super cool to see firsthand.
Nice. Well done with that one. Obviously, we've got so many shows, and this is one of those times where we say, please subscribe, because genuinely, like, our stuff is always very different. It's not always the same. Sometimes it's alpine, sometimes it's rock climbing, it's lots. So it may not be for everyone, but if you subscribe, you get the notifications, and you can get to pick the ones you want to watch and do it like that. So please do that.
I think it's also like a show by climbers for climbers.
Yeah, that's very true.
And I cannot speak for everybody, but you know, like, we're definitely climbing fans, and we want to share how much as we can of the climbing world.
Yeah.
And like, there's something for everybody. Like, I'm never gonna go ice climbing, like, you know.
You told me you wanted to be on the Swiss ice climbing team at one point.
Why did I get psyched for that? I don't even know.
When we were top roping Bouet in Chamonix, and you were like, I am so good at this. And then you did like half a route, and you were like, I'm done. Done. I don't know why I'm making you this American thing, but I'm just like, you're this today. A couple of honorable mentions. Blockhelden's gym, their new big one.
That was a fun. That was a fun,
because it was the first time that I was filming you.
A fun one. I was like shaking the whole time. It was so nerve-wracking.
You did amazingly, but it was a weird thing for me because like usually I'm the one in front of the camera, and you were in front of the camera, and I was filming it. And it was an amazing gym. So that was a standout.
But again, it was so big, like, and we got there and we're like, oh right, we have to shoot this gym tour, and we didn't even know how this gym how it operated, because it was so big. And yeah, we got a tour before filming the actual tour.
Yeah.
But still, like, it took, and we were there for 3 days all in all. By the third day, I knew how to get around the gym.
Yeah.
Not the first one, and definitely not when we filmed that video.
That was a good one. And I wanted to quickly talk about Red Bull, because the dam thing, which came at the end, that's been a big video for us recently, because it was this huge event at the Red Bull, what's it called? Where you live?
You said Versace in the video.
I know.
Nobody commented on that.
How do I pronounce it?
But it's Versace.
Right. I just want to say that every single person I talked to said it different. Well, I don't think I said Versace like
you said Versace.
like the clothing
like
brand.
Versace.
If you want to go to the Louis Vuitton dam, then it's amazing.
And that's another one.
Yeah. Any honourable mentions from you?
Oh, the Sardinia trip with Vibram.
You and Oriane.
Yes, who actually, honestly, became a friend. Like, yes, no, that was a good trip. I don't know. I think this year I got to go to a lot of climbing locations and stared at a lot of climbers climb.
Welcome to the job.
No, but actually like.
I know, that's what it is like.
You know, you turn up, hi, you do the skit on video, and then you go like,
yeah, you watch.
oh,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that is generally it. Well, listen, guys, that was some of our favourite moments from the year. Do let us know down below what your favourite videos were. Which ones you like generally? Is it just us talking a load of rubbish on the news show? Do you like gear shows? Are you into those sort of hard send videos? Just let us know what your opinion is at the end of the year. And that's it. Hopefully more shoots to come, especially for you in the next year. And we'll be back very soon with more Climbing Daily action.